Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? You guys doing good too? I'm doing good too. Let's get today's video session. Here we go. Yeah, Super Mario Brothers. Yeah. Yeah! And you like my Super Mario Brothers music? Rocking on music on my channel as always. So we are back on the Panasonic Q video once again. And this time round we are gonna be going specific into more information, right? So lots of people will tend to look for this kind of information, right? Now watching my video, you won't need to do that anymore. Basically, we need to know, how was he playing US version games of Nintendo Gamecube, or Nintendo Gamecube games in US version and multi-region DVD movie playback. How was that all that happening? I know it was some kind of a mod that was doing it, but what was all the whole process of it? How was it done? Nobody actually knows the inside of this system, how it's done, because obviously you got to open the system, open it to do it. So we are talking about the Panasonic Q again today, right? Right. Okay. For the DVD, right? What you had to do there, right? You had to put an extra chip for RAM. This was very important to do because without that, right, you couldn't do anything. You have to add, there's quite a lot of things to this, right? For the because the DVD to work in there. It wasn't an easy process. No, it was quite a difficult process that needs to be taken, right? Capacitors. You need that as well. Let's just go back into the extra chip of RAM. Because if you don't put the right RAM, even in especially, have you seen PCs when they go system requirements and they're asking for some kind of amount of RAM? If you don't put that RAM, your software is not going to run, is it? This is the same thing what is happening here. Because to have the right amount of RAM, right, this is how your DVD movie playback is going to work. Okay, the capacitors. Capacitor is a technology which processes the whole resource of the system to work the DVDs. It's very important to have that because otherwise the performance, right, without the capacitors wouldn't come right, you see. Okay? I don't know how to put this one. There was also another small chip in there. Okay? When you add the extra amount of RAM, capacitors, and another small chip, it makes your DVD player in multi-region. Yeah, it does that. You need these three things. It's a lot of work, but this is the way how it was done. If you get all these three things installed in it, your DVD player will be multi-region. Okay, right. Now the next part was the Panasonic Q to return, to run Nintendo Gamecube games in US version, wasn't it? Right. Let me get this code right. So the code was, it was a programmed, right? So I put this code here so I can remember it. I usually get this code, always forget this code. It's 12C5084. This is the code for it, okay? It's a PIC. It's some kind of programming thing that needs to be done. It's this kind of software, right? Now this PIC should be soldered behind the power button, okay? But what was the reason putting this, soldering the wiring, wherever this thing was behind the power button? So this is specifically to run Nintendo GameCube games in US version. So what it was doing, the reason for soldering that, when you when you're gonna put your system on, yeah, okay? So we're talking about when you're powering up your system. You're gonna hold it for a few seconds as the Nintendo GameCube logo goes, then you let go. As you see the logo, so you're gonna keep on holding that power button till the Nintendo GameCube logo starts spinning around. It goes do 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 do. Then let go, and once you let go, you should able to see English language. Soon as you see the English language, you know it's in US version. That is why it was soldered from behind the power button. If you don't have the experience to do all this, the two things I told for DVD player for multi-region and to run Nintendo GameCube games in US version, you need someone to do it for you. But nowadays, nobody actually does it. I think it'll be pretty difficult to do it right now because you're not gonna able to find these parts, are you? You're not gonna be able to find any of these. And the other thing is that there's nobody out there who actually does that. I think loads of these companies just closed down now anyway. Who used to mod this system? They're not available anymore. So what would you do about that? For nothing. You can't do anything about it. To be honest, there's a lot of things to this system. I would have to say. So what was special about to have this mod over the original Nintendo GameCube? Because the original Nintendo GameCube had a switch, goes up and down for Japanese and US version of games. What was advantage of this mod? You do not need to make a hole back of the system. You didn't need to do that. Okay? So you know the switch part is done automatically. You're probably thinking, How can that be done automatically? You see, if it's at the with the switch, right? If it's at the top, you'll be Japanese games. You press it down with the switch, it goes to US. Can you see what's going on here? So basically, what's happening here? So it's automatic. This is okay. So if you just press the power button, just like that, you go to Japanese version. Okay. If you're gonna power up the system, when you're gonna hold it for few seconds as the Nintendo Gamecube logo spins around, you let go, it goes to English language. Can you see? It's doing the switch thing. Hmm. I repeat it once again. You press it once, you go into a Japanese version, you hold it for a few seconds, it takes you to the US version. It's automatic. Can you see? It does the Japanese and US versions automatic without having a switch at the back. There have been pictures which I showed you in my previous video where he's showing the Panasonic Q. There's some people out there saying that it was impossible to do. That's not actually true. Then why would there be pictures right behind the system showing you a switch? The reason it's showing you a switch in some images because there was a switch version and there was a switchless version. Okay? But most majority modded systems that people don't know of, it was switchless. It was one of them. There is a switch mode one. I think it's a site probably called Retro Asia. If I'm wrong on that, don't start shouting at me. I think it's called that. Just Google it, right? And write down there Panasonic Q multi-region. Just write Panasonic Q DVD region multi-region. And once you press enter on that, and I think it's page 2 on Google search, look for the one which says something like Retro Asia, something like that. And you'll see an image in there. Already showed, if you watch my part 2 video, I've already shown you an image with a switch in there. Yeah. Then why would there be a switch images if there's only one mode to it? But there isn't. There's 2 mods to it. One is a switchless one is the one with a switch. You have to go to them companies only back in 2001 where they do both. Now the point here is that how can you tell from a normal Panasonic Q and a mod Panasonic Q? How can you tell? Right, so basically the first one, right, the first system, what it is that when you're gonna when you're gonna hold it for 2 seconds, let's say the logo spins around, and if that system doesn't come in English language, it means it's not modded. It's the original Panasonic Q SLGC10. Okay, if you put another Panasonic Q model and you press this, you hold the power switch for 2 seconds, and the Nintendo Gamecube logo spins around, and you let go, and it goes in English language, you will know this is a switchless one. Switchless. That's why you're holding the power switch here, because when you hold the power switch, you know it's a switchless one. And of course, there's no switch at the back. When you hold the power switch, so this is a switchless model. You hold the power switch, and if it comes in English language, you know it's modded. And you see, the first 2 don't have nothing at the back. Can you see? The first one doesn't have anything. When you press the power switch, it doesn't go in English language. And if you look at the second one, there's no switch on that either. No switch on that. But when you hold it for 2 seconds, it goes in English language. It means it's modded. And the third one is that Obviously, there's a switch at the back. You can tell it's modded. Now you can tell from three different models what they like. The first one with no switch is not modded. The second one with no switch, when you hold the power switch, is modded. The third one with the switch, right? It's got a switch at the back. You can see that. That's how you can tell if these models are modded. Loads of people got a bit confused with this one because some people saw the Panasonic Q modded one. They didn't just saw about it, they read about it. They read about it that there's one with no switch. Check this out. So they saw the one with no switch. Now what some people did, they bought the one with no switch. And when they hold the power switch, they start complaining. They go that my Panasonic Q is modded and it's not going to the US version. But that person didn't even know. Even it's switchless with no switch. He thought his system was modded. And his system wasn't. And that's why he got confused. Can you see? When you see no switch, and loads of people thought the no switch one they go that if I just hold the power switch, it'll come to US mode. They thought they modded just like that. Without it, no. So that person's system wasn't modded, and that's why he was doing that. Okay, so that's covered. So now we know everything from DVD to multi-region and Nintendo Gamecube games running in US. Well, Nintendo Gamecube, Japanese US versions are running now. Does it really run PAL, DVDs and all that? Well, originally this mod was just to do your Japanese and US versions. It was never intended to run PAL stuff, but that's what I've heard. If I'm wrong on that, then I'm sorry about that. But I really think it was like that. I think there was another disk, right? Before we go to a disk, your system needs to be modded. So what you need to do, you put in a software, right? I think it was from third party, something. And then when you put that, you will read that disk. Obviously, this is not a DVD disk, okay? This is the thing that will run your PAL DVDs. So you put in that disk in there first, and then you swap it over for your PAL DVD. And it runs your PAL DVDs are. But your system needs to be modded first. Otherwise, you know that disk, what I'm talking about, it wouldn't run. Yeah, it wouldn't work. I'm gonna give you something really surprise now. I'm gonna tell you something surprise. Can you do this without modding? Can you play DVD discs, right? Multi-region. We're just gonna go in a bit later on that. There was something else to the mod. They go, once you mod the system, it causes problems. To what? It causes problems to VCDs, CDRs, CDRWs, and MP3s. They don't run. They probably wouldn't run. All the mod does is made for your multi-region, but I think the mod, it's a bit of a spoiler. It spoils everything because all it's just doing is just playing DVDs playback in just multi-region, but then it stops your VCDs, CDR, CDRWs, and VCDs, CDR, CDRW, and MP3s. They don't run anymore then. They run without the mod. Can you see the mods messes everything up? If you don't mod your system, then VCDs, CDR, CDW, and MP3s run. Okay? Of course, yeah, Nintendo Gamecube and DVD movies play in Japanese. All of these discs will run because originally it does all that, doesn't it? When you just buy the Japanese version, but the mod stops the other formats to run. Now let's get back. I think it's best to not to mod the system. The reason for that is because it will stop your VCDs, CDR, CDW, and MP3s. They're not going to run anymore. I really don't like that. I prefer to run everything like that. So what's the way around it? Because if we just buy a Japanese Panasonic Q, it's only going to play NTS DVDs from NTS Region 2, isn't it? That's going to be a problem. It's not going to play anything else here. Basically, I'm going to show you my next video. There's a software here which I'll show you properly. I'm going to be using a disc called Akira. It's a PAL DVD, okay? PAL DVD Region 2. It's for UK, okay? That DVD will never work on the Japanese Panasonic Q. It will never work in there. Okay? You probably say wrong disc or something like that. Or no disc. You probably just say no disc on it. I'm going to show you how you can remove the region lock. Yeah. How can you remove it? Okay? So I'm going to tell you everything about how that can be done. What it does completely, it removes it from your original disk. But you gotta know then how can you run these discs? Because originally these are PAL DVDs and the Panasonic Q is locked. You can't run them, can it? It's only locked. The Panasonic Q is only locked for to run original DVD discs, man. Yes, the original DVD discs are locked on there. But Panasonic hasn't locked to work copy versions of your discs. No, that's not locked. You can't lock that anyway because it's a copy. There's no way you can do that because each country has their own locks on DVDs. Each country does that because inside the discs there's locks. They come locks on the discs, Yeah, they come that. So you can't make another copy from there. They do stuff like that as well. But here, we're not talking about DVD locks. We're talking about Panasonic Q is only locked to play Japanese DVDs. Okay? But what about the Nintendo Gamecube games? What will happen to that? I don't think you need to worry too much about that. You can still remain playing your Japanese. I don't really mind playing Japanese Nintendo Gamecube games because a lot of these games are pretty easy to play in Japanese. Quite a lot of them. Most majority you will able to play Nintendo Gamecube games in Japanese. But trust me, you can work any region DVD disc in the Panasonic Q without modding it. Yeah, you don't need to do nothing. You don't need to worry about opening the system. You don't need to worry about to find a person who can mod the system for you. And it's not any extra costs. It will cost you something, right, to do this. But it's very easy to get because I'm telling you, Panasonic Q, the parts and the person you'll never be able to find. You're not going to be able to mod it anyway. Unless you find one from eBay, which Panasonic Q games console is already modded, then you can probably get away with it. Otherwise, not. To be honest, the option I'm going to tell you is one of the most amazing options that you don't need to worry about anymore for your DVDs. I don't know why people are not talking about it. People not using that. You don't need to worry about it for DVDs anymore. I will show you that thing, how to do it. It will completely remove the lock. You remove it. Even the Panasonic Q lock won't able to stop that them discs. Nope. It can't do it because it gets removed, doesn't it? Because what's Panasonic done in this system? He's put a lock for the original DVD discs, which come from other countries. It won't allow you to play DVD discs from all other countries. It will do that. But did Panasonic stop to remove the region lock? No. He can't stop that. Don't worry, I will show you that in my next video. Make sure you watch that because it's the most important video that you need to watch. You guys are gonna love it, man. Trust me. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my video today. Give me a likes, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye from now.